Hey everybody, it is Dak here from the Ed Boys, and welcome to my free-to-play money-making series, the very original concept of a bond from scratch. I figured I could do something like a Road to 100 mil free-to-play only series, but really the one big goal you should have as a free-to-play player is to just make enough money for a bond, use that bond, and go play as a member, because there's a bunch of better methods when you're a member, and it's only like 3 mil for a bond. In fact, it's about 3.2 mil right now, so we have a goal currently of making 3.2 mil on this free-to-play account. If this first bond goes very smoothly, I'd be willing to do multiple bonds on this series, but for now, we have a goal set in place, so I'm going to go through the classic tutorial island and then throw my first 3 quests down, which I always do: Cook's Assistant, Sheep Shearer, and Romeo and Juliet. What this does is gives me 7 quest points so that I can use the grain exchange right away. Otherwise, I believe you need 24 hours of in-game time before they let you use the grain exchange, and clearly I'm just trying to make some money here, so being able to sell to people over the GE would be kind of nice. I'm going to be trying to spread out the moneymakers instead of just finding the best moneymaker and doing that for as few hours as possible and get a bond. I feel like that's kind of a boring way to do it, and I'd rather spread the love and get as many different moneymakers in there that seem like viable methods. That way, anybody else who's trying to get a bond themselves, you get a bunch of ideas of ways you could get the bond, and maybe the one that makes the most money per hour is something you don't want to do, and I got some other options for you. In this first episode, I'm going to start with some of the older methods that I used in some previous videos, like my free-to-play money-making guides, or even my old-school RuneScape bond buying guide, which is pretty old at this point, so I want to see if those are still making decent money. I figure they're at least going to be profiting. That's generally how it works, but it could be a lot less, could even be more profit at this point. You never know. On the note of those 3 quests that I brought up a second ago, I'm going to get 4 cooking from the Cook's Assistant and 3 crafting from Sheep Shearer. Cooking's not going to be a big deal right away, but I will be getting some crafting levels probably in this first episode, so having a little bit of a head start on that is kind of nice. The thing with Romeo and Juliet is the only reward is the 5 quest points, but 5 quest points for something that takes like 10 minutes is actually kind of nice. So I just ended Romeo and Juliet, and even though that landed me in Varrock right next to the grain exchange, I wanted to pick up some eggs back at the chicken farm in Lumbridge, and I was going to sell those for a little bit of extra money for starting cash stack. This is clearly not a moneymaker that you'd want to spend like a lot of time on. Trying to bank these eggs would be ridiculous, but just filling up this inventory and running up to the GE is going to give me some more money to work with. I'm probably going to stick with, I don't know, I'm going to use that money to make more money for a little while. It's not going to be any crazy cash per hour, but I'd like to get, I don't know, 30 to 50k and then buy some gear and actually do some combat related things. Probably coming back to these chickens, but getting ahead of myself, let me finish picking up these eggs and meet you at the GE. Made it safe and sound to the grain exchange. It's actually kind of sketchy again to run by those dark wizards, but don't worry. We're here with all my eggs. If I lost my eggs, I'd probably just quit the series right now. This is going to be a couple K to start with. I really don't mind insta-selling things, especially when I have no money to work with right now. And waiting around for money is just waiting around not making any money at the same time. So 1.7K to work with. I'm going to run over to the general store. One of the methods I used in my first How to Make Money with Money video, I made it for broke people like myself right now. And I bought hammers from the general store and eventually sold them in the GE. Right now, hammers are a lot less than they were when I made that video, if I'm not mistaken. It looks like I'm going to get, I don't know, 25 to 30 coins a piece. The thing is, most people that are buying a hammer just need one really quick, and since it's so cheap, they're willing to buy it for like 100, 200 coins sometimes. So maybe I'll be putting them in for a little bit of extra cash per hammer and see if we can, you know, sell some of them for a lot more than the 1 coin a piece that the general store is charging me. Selling off some hammers. I got a little over 500 of them. I really couldn't buy like 1,700 and go through my whole cash stack. There's just no way. Oh, I got exactly 500. What am I talking about? 500 hammers to sell. I am going to sell these for hopefully a little pricier than clearly the 9 or 10 coins is expecting. I'm going with 25 a piece, and I'm going to leave them in here for a little while. I have a little bit more money to work with, though, so I'm headed back to the general store. Oh, one of them sold. Wait. Yeah, 25 GP. It's going to work. I bought 5 packs of empty jugs from the general store. It used up a pretty large chunk of my cash stack here, but I now have 500 jugs to fill up with water and sell to the grain exchange. This is ever so slightly more AFK than buying hammers and running over to this bank, and it's a little bit less of a run, so, I mean, I'll take it. You guys know that I'm a fiend for the AFK life. A lot of times I'm trying to do something on 2, maybe even sometimes 3 accounts now that I have this free-to-play account going. And if I can be AFKing on those accounts, it just makes it a lot easier, and I'm still making gains, so I really have no problem with that. My god, are you guys ready to gain some XP? I think this is the last method I'm doing, where I'm just like buying and selling for right now at least. There's 500 jugs filled up, and it looks like about half my hammers sold. I am going to give this just a minute to sell and see how long it takes. I'm willing to drop the price a little bit if it's taking too long, of course, but we'll see. There's not much of a better sight than a couple of green bars and some money waiting for you in the grain exchange when you get back. I was thinking 30 to 50k is where I'd land when I'd go to buy gear. Apparently, I overestimated how much I would make from that. 20k is plenty to work with right now, though. I just wanted to buy up to, like, myth stuff, and I'm just going to buy, like, skimmy and shield for, I don't know, iron, steel, and myth for right now, and go do a little combat. There's not a ton of really good combat moneymakers for free-to-play, but there are some that I do want to work with eventually, and I'm going to need higher than 1 attack, 1 strength, and 1 defense, so I'll go do some of the lower-level combat stuff, get some levels. We'll make a little bit of money out of it, because that's the whole goal, but for right now, I've got XP on the mind. But for right now, I've got experience on the mind. I was kind of tempted to go with range levels, too. I don't know how hyped I am on free-to-play range at the moment. Range is not going to be fun if I can't get an Ava's accumulator, or an Ava's attractor, excuse me, right at level 30 range. Even the accumulator 50. Any Ava's device would be wonderful. The fact that that's members only is going to make range pretty crappy, but there are some range methods that are actually, like, pretty helpful at least, so I'll definitely have to do it eventually, but we're sticking with the melee idea right now, some skimmies and kite shields, and I'm actually going to go back to those chickens, at least the chickens that I was stealing eggs from. I'm now going to go kill them. About to grab level 5 attack, which means I can put on my steel skimmy and get a little bit of an upgrade. I think I'm just going to go till 5 strength and then move on to cows. I usually would wait till like 10 attack and strength, but cows are actually going to make me a little bit of money since they drop cow hides, so a few more chickens and then we'll move on from this. Alright, up to 5 strength, definitely going to move on to cows now. Cows aren't like difficult to kill, but you'd like to have a little bit higher level so you can actually kill them kind of quickly. Even when I'm killing them quickly, they're not going to be worth that much money. Like, I'm not going to make a lot of money per hour because cow hides are pretty cheap. I'm thinking about tanning them into leathers first, because that is a moneymaker that I used to use for free-to-play money-making a lot. It's just not that much of a profit right now, so I might just skip that and move on to the next money-making method. I'm really here for some combat levels right now. I'll definitely go past 10 attack and strength, maybe to 20 in each, and I probably should do a little bit of defense so I can at least put on like my steel kite shield, which would be better for taking a little less damage here overall. I don't know. I'm going to grind out some cows for a bit. We're going to get some cow hides, and we'll move on to the next section afterwards. Almost done with some cow KOing. I feel like everybody has to go through a little bit of cow slaying in their life. That's a terrible thing to say starting a clip. Oh my god, I mentioned OSRS, of course. This is not good training or bad training, and it's not good money making or bad money making, but it's totally beginner's level stuff. It's pretty good for your early levels in terms of XP. It's not like a bad idea to kill cows. And I'm going to have a little bit of money to work with when I'm done with this. But in all reality, like, I've seen some people here with like full rune, some free-to-play players who maybe they just don't know better, and I ain't going to shit on them too much. But by the time you can wear full rune, there's got to be some better moneymakers out there, right? I'm going to be working on some of them for free-to-play. There's not a ton of combat options, but holy crap. If I were one-hitting these cows, I would want to get out of here so quickly. I'd make more money just picking up all these cow hides that other people aren't picking up instead of just picking up the ones that I killed. I haven't even just picked up the ones that I killed. I picked up a few extras, but I don't know. I could rant about cow hides for probably far too long. There's 20 strength. Let's go ahead and move on. I'm going to take these directly to the grain exchange, sell them for a little bit of cash, and I don't know, move on to the next adventure, I guess. So it looks like they could sell for 125 coins a piece, but it's going to be fairly slow. Even if I sell them for 5 coins less a piece, it's going to be like 1.5k difference. It's really not enough of a difference for me to care, so there's a little bit of cash to work with overall. I've got 57k before... Oh, man. You know what? I think I just blew it. I mean, I kind of blew it. I could have tanned some of these into leather because I do need to get a few crafting levels before I can make gold amulets, which is what I wanted to do next. It's not that big of a deal, though. I'm only going to need 44 leather to turn into gloves, and then I'll be able to make gold amulets. So I'll buy 44 leather here, and I'll buy a bunch of gold bars with the rest of my money. Then I'm going to meet all of you in the Al-Kharid Bank, where we're going to start getting some crafting life in. Eventually, this is going to look like a crafting pure. Seriously, I'm not going for the cape necessarily, but I will be closest to a trim crafting cape for a while. With level 8 crafting, I can make gold amulets. Unstrung gold amulets, at least, is what I'm going to make. I would normally like to make gold bracelets if I could, because it's a little bit better money, but those are members only. So I'm going to have to buy an amulet mold here, and I'm going to make the first inventory of gold amulets at the Al-Kharid furnace. But this is no longer the best furnace in free-to-play. Maybe it wasn't the best beforehand. I could have been wrong. But the Edgeville furnace used to have a members-only requirement, and now it doesn't. So I'm going to do this first load at the Al-Kharid furnace just for, I guess, nostalgia's sake. But other than that, let's head up to Edgeville where I can do a little bit faster bars per hour. What was that? Graphical glitch 101. Let's just get out of here before you ruin the clip. 9 crafting, thank you very much. Once I'm not leveling up multiple times per inventory, I'll actually be able to make a decent amount of bars per hour. Not that it's a problem to level up so many times. It's kind of one of the best parts of making a new account is you level up so fast and you actually make gains so quickly. It's very exciting. But for right now, it just stops me from crafting gold amulets every once in a while. So once I get to a point that I actually can grind this out, I think it's like 1.5k gold amulets an hour, which isn't going to add up to a lot of money, maybe 50k an hour to start, but 50k an hour is a lot more money than I was making on either or any of the other methods that I was just using. There's been a few of them now. The hammers were all right in terms of cash, so were the jugs of water for not having to have like any cash or requirements to start them. And the cows weren't bad since I grabbed a lot of cow hides that I didn't actually kill the cows. Some other people just left it there. But really overall, it only got me to like, what, 50, 60k. So this is where I'm going to make my first actual jump in cash. And I'm going to do a few loads of these. So what I'm going to be doing is turning all these gold bars into amulets. I'll go sell all the amulets and just buy more gold bars with the money until I get maybe 200k in cash. At least 100k for the white stack would be nice, but 200k plus would be even nicer, wouldn't it? Alright, at this point I'm almost up to 300k cash when I sell these off, and I'm doing pretty good in terms of crafting XP overall. I think I want to move on, but not move on from crafting, don't get me wrong. I'm going to buy some, I guess I need emeralds and gold rings, or no, wait a minute, you need emeralds and gold bars. Just fucking brain fart on that one. Emeralds and gold bars to make emerald rings. For some reason I figured I'd just attach the emerald right to the gold ring to make it. Emerald rings are going to be the same process as gold amulets were, but it'll be a little bit more money per hour. It's going to be a little bit less AFK, but still AFK overall, so I'm definitely going to try it out, because the gold amulets were nice in terms of cash, but definitely could be better. Not only are these going to be better money per hour, but a little bit better crafting XP per hour, and I've already been making some pretty solid crafting gains. Up to 58 crafting and counting. I don't necessarily have a crafting goal. I'm just trying to get as much money as possible, of course, so I'll do as many gold rings as my mind can take. We got up to almost 300k in cash from the gold amulets. I think I said gold rings a second ago. Pretty sure I'm making emeralds. Anyways, I'm going to try to get up to maybe 500 or 600k from the emerald rings, but I'm going to leave that for some in-between episode progress and wrap up this episode here. Thank you very much for watching the first episode of Bond from Scratch, everybody. If you got some useful information from these free-to-play moneymakers, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for some more content. If you have any questions or comments in general, leave them in the comments section below. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time.